The Gallant Few Rangers podcast is brought to you by Triple H Mortgages, the one-stop shop for all your mortgage and mortgage insurance needs. Contact them today on 01453 887 179 or hello@hhhmortgages.com. You can also find them online at hhhmortgages.com or on their Facebook page. Hello and welcome to the Gallant Few Rangers podcast. My name is Colin and I'm delighted to be joined today by, first of all, Scott Hodge. Scott, I'm not the biggest fan of a Sunday game, but we had Rangers yesterday afternoon and the Masters at night. Pretty good day all in, wasn't it?
Tremendous, aye. Good one for the calendar, the Masters, and obviously Rangers getting the victory made it even sweeter.
I know, I've had worse Sundays, and making it a threesome this week, Graeme Curry. Graeme, another week passes and we're still champions. Another week where we go undefeated in the league. You still enjoying yourself?
Aye, delighted. Absolutely delighted. It's just back to our rightful position, aren't we? So it's just good to be there.
Yep. I was delighted to be announced as joining the threesome, but okay, we'll put that down to a maybe. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Rangers' 2-1 victory over Hibs. So Rangers lined up yesterday: McGregor, Patterson, Golson, Helander, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Aribo, Kent, Morelos and Roof. So Scott, I actually thought that Scott Wright would have been in for a shout we get a start. Obviously also not Roof given started, but other than that, is there any surprises for the lineup with you?
No, not really. I think Balogun got injured, the gaffer was saying, maybe the only change, but strong team. Obviously, like, we're hoping Tavernier's not too far away as well. But in terms, it's probably the strongest team that we could have put in the pitch, I'd say.
No, even with Tavernier being out, Graeme, I thought Patterson was behind Philip Helander, probably man of the match yesterday. I thought Patterson had a good game. What was your thoughts on him?
Just racking them up, and he just continues to shine. Long may it continue. But I was one of the better players yesterday, definitely.
Yeah. What I really liked was I like that player, Doig. Is it? I always get confused with him. There's Doig and Doig, but Doig is a left back, aye.
Yeah.
I rate him as a player too, and it was. I think both of them were just game for it yesterday. Try to like outmatch the other one. I think Patterson goes slightly the better of them, but no, that was quite good to see. On a side note, do you think if Barisic goes in the summer, that's maybe somebody we could look at?
Potentially, aye. He's young and he's plenty of potential. I think there's a few Premier League clubs looking at him as well. That boy as well. So I think it would be a really good bit of business. Like, seeing obviously Scottish players come through. Obviously they need to be good enough first of all, but with somebody like Gerrard in charge of you, it would be good to look at. And as you say, there's a Euros coming. Barisic playing for Croatia. If they get to the last stages, I'm sure there'll be interest in him.
Gerrard was quoting him. I don't really remember this too many occasions when Gerrard calls out an opposition player and praises him, but I thought it was really interesting that he actually, I didn't see an interview, I read it somewhere, but Gerrard was saying that Doig was going to be a great player for the future. So I don't know if that's a wee hint that, you know, he's on the radar. But I forget him. He would be a good player. He set a goal up against us the last time as well. He was the one that put the cross in at the last game we played Hibs, and he had a good game again yesterday.
The only thing I would maybe be a bit wary about is if, like, from what we've seen of Calvin Bassey, we think he looks he's plenty of potential, and you know, obviously this Doig, if he was linked to Rangers, but it's very young, you know, fullbacks in terms of that. You know, we've obviously got the experience of Barisic, played at a really high level. My only concern is you probably would need to add somebody in that's, you know, got the experience factor as well, because as I say, two defenders in their early 20s, you know what I mean, it would be potentially a weakness.
No, potentially, but suppose you caveat with who's the centre half sit there alongside. Leon Balogun obviously extending his contract. He's here. You'd like to think we won't lose Helander and Goldson. Even when one goes, you like to think the other one will stay. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
And then Katic coming through, he'll be back for the start of next season, fingers crossed. So, yeah, I would say he's an experienced player as well. So, there's plenty of experience in the defence, but I get what you're saying, Scott. It's if you were to have two 19 or 20-year-olds at your fullback, you might be exposed, but how do you get experience? You know, if you're going to become a club that foster talent and sell on talent, if we talk about the Ajax model, these guys are playing 17, 18, 19-year-olds at fullback and consistently for seasons, so that might just be the model we need to go to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely exciting times. Even if you are interested in the national team level, you've got two 19-year-olds coming in either side of fullback. So, but on to the game itself, I thought Rangers looked great in the first 10-20 minutes. Scott really dominated the ball. Davis and Aribo in the middle of the park early on. I thought they looked up for it yesterday.
Definitely, aye. What more can we say about Steve Davis? But you know, he's just utter class and just controls the game so well. Aribo, yeah, really good as well. And obviously got the goal, which was a really nice finish as well. But yeah, I thought our midfield looked really up for it yesterday.
Graeme, I think Davis kind of creating that first chance with the offside goal. It's not something you really see too much of Davis, that kind of skipping into the gap, driving forward. But that was a really well worked move for him.
I don't think he had a choice. I think he just get crowded out. He ended up, I think they realised the damage that Davis was doing, so they put three guys round about him, and he didn't have any other out. The one thing you'd say about Davis is he never loses the ball. Very rarely does Davis lose the ball, so all he had to do was just find the 2 yards of space, and that just happened to be driving forward. But to pick out the pass thereafter, so accurate when it is so crowded, and to be able to find that weight of pass right into Morelos' path was, really good piece of work. And what we've come to expect from him.
Yeah. I tell you what, thank Christ that Morelos' shot was going wide. Could you imagine if it was going in and Roof got it offside? Morelos he'd be up in court today for assault. He would, wouldn't he? Fucking madman. So we spoke about Joe Aribo there as well. His very well worked goal, Scott. I think that just kind of sums up everything. Like Joe Aribo at his best, he's good feet work. Very quick getting the ball with his feet in tight spaces, puts it out wide, and then when he maybe a bit lucky to be in the right place for the rebound, but a cool finish, yeah.
I thought it was a cracking finish. His technique's brilliant, isn't it? Probably one of the most best technically player we've got in terms of skill and accuracy. Like it was an awkward height, I thought, for him, but he just took it so well. And like I've got such high hopes for Joe Aribo. I always say to you, I think he'll be playing in he'll shoot like an Italian team or something, and the sky is the limit for him. He's young, and I think he'll be next one to get a big move. He'll be doing well to keep a hold of him.
No, definitely is. At his best, he is just a very continental player. I know what you mean by that.
It was his eyes on the ball. See the way he just kept his eyes on the ball, the full, because it was dropping. It came for a height, but he just kept his eye in it. Scott uses the right word. It's technique. That is where that comes from. To be able to volley that and keep it down and put it in a cross goal, that is all technique, and a fantastic finish.
And Graeme, I think I think him and Davis have really complemented each other when they've played this year. I don't think many people have spoken about that. I think in kind of midfield partnerships, a lot of credit goes to Davis and Kamara in terms of the work rate and showing up defence. But I think Aribo, he can tell when Davis isn't there. He doesn't. Well, he's allowed to drift further into the right, further forward as well. But I think that's a really good duo we have, and especially games like this when Hibs are going to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's having that trust. You get relationships like that build up. I remember Keane and Scholes had that relationship where if Scholes was going forward, Keane would sit. And I think that's what Aribo's got. He's got that confidence and that trust that even if he does go that extra 10 yards forward, he knows he's got a great backup ready to patrol behind him and back him up. But Aribo does work hard as well, so if he does, he's one of the guys that will run back and try to get back into position. So, but no, I know what you're saying there. He does get that confidence from playing alongside Davis.
I think just seeing the work rate thing, I don't think you get in this Rangers team if you're not willing to work, to be fair. Like, you get shown up automatically, and the minute you drop off, you'll be out the door. So, but I think Joe Aribo starts that press, you know what I mean? Like, he'll set the tone for the rest of the team. I wouldn't really see, like, Kamara, like sort of, trying to, like, maybe add in terms of like influence, but I think that he really starts the press and it sets the tone. I get the full team.
And it sets up that type of game plan when we do have that. Because I think we always knew Hibs weren't going to put the 10 men behind the ball, so we did have to press a bit, or we were allowed to press a bit more. You get that way, maybe that you wouldn't get with, as you say, Kamara. So before we get to the second half, I thought Steven Gerrard did mention that in his post-match interview, Graeme, that we finished both halves a bit flat. I think from a Hibs point of view, I thought they did come into it quite a bit as well. I think we need to give them a wee bit of credit. They started to gaze a game, and they're not really playing for it either. So I thought, I don't know if Rangers were maybe expecting a nothing game, but Hibs definitely grew into the game.
I wouldn't say Hibs are not playing for anything. They're looking for third. They're looking to secure third. Aberdeen are
points ahead of Aberdeen, is that?
They still need to secure it though, aye. Aye. So they still need to secure that third, so they're definitely not playing for nothing. But they had players up front who were trying to, they were trying to separate our back four, and they did a good job of it at times. They made some holes in their defence. So I think we had to deal with them. They weren't just there to camp in, as you say. Nisbet's got a lot of pace. He was getting forward. He took Hollander away. And I don't know what happened to Goldson, but Goldson was way to the right-hand side for some reason. Patterson had to come in and cover him. But Hollander looked as if he was isolated and had to go one-on-one with Nisbet. And eventually Nisbet had it wide of the post. But there was a few occasions like that where Hibs were coming out to play. They weren't just going to sit in it and rest on it.
I rate Nisbet, so I think I've said to both of you before, I do like Nisbet as a player. I don't think, I think the money Hibs would want for him, like 3-4 million, I don't think Rangers should be spending that amount of money on him, but I think he'd be like a good third striker to have, but I can't see he is getting him, but that's just another by the by.
So I think Rangers were linked to him when they was Dunfermline they came from, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I'm sure they were scouting him, and obviously you could have picked him up in a cheaper fee, maybe loan him out and things like that. So I'm surprised he didn't go for that when he was before the move.
I don't think Hibs will let him go. The chairman was on at the weekend talking on the radio saying that they're not letting him go for peanuts, and I think he sounds as if he was meaning it. I know all teams will say that, we're not letting more players go, but they already have held it. They already held it in January, and they already held it in the summer. They didn't want, even though Nisbet wanted away. They didn't crumble, so I think they are looking for the big bucks. And if they're looking for really big bucks, if it becomes a bidding war, I'm pretty sure the Championship would probably be able to outbid us. Maybe not outbid us in the sense that they would take more of a risk. If it is going to be 4 million, would you want to spend 4 million on them? Probably not. Whereas a Championship team would easily just, find that down the back of the couch and pay that. Whereas we would be a wee bit more sensible with it.
I don't think Rangers will be like in the near future. They'll not be drawn into a bidding war for MD. The Rangers model is there's 5-6 players on a short list for every position. So if the money wasn't right, they just move on to the next target. But what you were mentioning there, Graeme, about the defence, Hollander being kind of isolated a couple of times, I thought maybe. I don't think Patterson done too much wrong. Obviously, when he's very forward thinking, not quite Tavernier. But I thought Barisic, he was had an off game Scott yesterday, and I think the centre halves were kind of going back and forth to help cover him. Was that just a bad day at the office with Bonner?
I think so. Aye. It wasn't his best game, but yeah, if you have one bad game out, I can't remember saying that often this season about a lot of our players. Never mind Barisic, she's been excellent. So an off day, I think was it Boyle who was up against? No. Really, sort of. He didn't really, as I say, like it was a tough day for him. I think that Boyle was a decent player. I think you need to be in your game when you're playing him. He's quick.
I think Hibs they weren't targeting Barisic, I don't think, but they were definitely set up to anytime the ball breaks, get the ball to Boyle. Yes, yeah. Definitely.
And you'd think it's quite surprising that they didn't target Patterson more, like who's the sort of inexperienced, like. But whatever they were doing, it seemed to work because it wasn't his best game in the Rangers shirt.
No, it was not, and then we'll come to the goal in a wee bit. But I'm going to have to rely on you too heavily for the second half. I'm still having problems with my Rangers TV login, so I tried to get a dodgy link, and it really went kaput in the second half. Like on and off. Every time the stream was on, there wasn't any sound either. Have you ever watched a football game with no sound at all? Like it's the loneliest thing ever. It's the only way I can. I felt like a dog who'd been left in and the owners forgot to turn the radio on. It was horrible. I was just and I anytime I was like getting tuned in to concentrate in it, like it would cut off again. So Graeme, how was the second half?
Yeah, much like the first half, to be fair. Good 30 minutes I would have thought, and then tailed off in the last 15. So yeah, pretty much the same as the first half. We were the ones dominating the possession again. Davis was all over it. A few attempts from us. Yeah, I think it really was much the same until we got to the goal. Kent's goal was just fantastic, a really fantastic goal. That came again from breaking up play in the defence, getting it into Davis, and Davis spreading a pass wide. Kent had held his position really wide, right on the touchline, and then was looking to drive inside. So he's on the right hand side, looking to drive in on his left, and looking to get a shot away. Now, the Hibs defence stood off. The first guy sort of was outdone by a step over, but he was outdone quite easily, I thought. It was really, really poor defending for him. So he gets skips by him and he goes into the next guy, and the Hibs defender again just sort of stands off. There's so much of a distance between the defence and Kent, and I don't know why that is. Maybe they're scared he's going to dart inside them, or I guess that's just what you had when you get a cracking player like that. Maybe that is just the defence start to hold off. But in saying that, the finish, I mean, not to take anything away for the finish was incredible. Just the amount of pace he put on it, the amount of accuracy to be able to get that right in the corner. It was really fantastic for the amount of the distance out. It was well outside the D, so you're talking 20, 22 yards out before he actually pings it into the corner. Fantastic goal.
It really was, and it's what, obviously, I missed it, as you might have guessed. So watching it back today, what I think with this goal, see when he gets into that position, I feel like this time last year he probably wouldn't have taken the shot on. He would have tried to play it out wider. Most of our players in that position will look to get out wide the ball in. But I was thinking this has been, for me, maybe the biggest difference this year. Scott, will come to you for this. Kind of similar to when Davis made that chance in the first half. Like this time last year, he would have turned back and looked for the easy ball, but no, he reacted and he fought on his feet. Kent done the same there. I think Rangers the last 2 or 3 years, we have been a very well drilled team, good work rate and stuff, but it's been individual brilliance this year that's made a difference.
Definitely. It's I think you need to give credit to like these players of like you look at Davis and he's been back for two seasons now, like maybe and a half. Ryan Kent's obviously been here since Gerrard came through as well, so the like they'll know each other inside out now, and we're really seeing we've seen it like Gerrard's first 2 seasons. There was potential, like we beating Celtic, for example, however long we'd not done that, and we could see that there was improvements made, but we're really seeing it obviously this season. I know it's easy to say win the league by March, but we're really seeing the effects of that, and people are trusting each other. And Gerrard said it himself. He'll never criticise a player for taking a shot out of the box. So obviously he's scored how many world-class ones, so he should be encouraging that. And I think Ryan, Kent and Hadji, that they're always willing to take an effort and take a risk, because you never know what will happen. As I say, like he's a good keeper, that Marciano, as well.
Yes.
And it's just a great finish. And left foot as well, man. He's the most two-footed player I've ever seen. No difference from, probably had it better with his left than with his right there. It was a wonderful goal.
Graeme, you'll probably agree with this. The left-footed shots like that, they look more technical than it would have been if it was the right foot.
Yeah, they just look better, don't they? For some whatever reason it is, they just always have done. Crosses, free kicks, shots with a left foot, they just always look better for some reason. It's just an odd thing about football that you come across, but quite odd. I don't know if I agree with you, Scott, about their goalkeeper being a great goalkeeper. I know he gets a big write-up, but I just don't see it. I don't see where the fuss is coming from. Our goal was, he parried one, a very odd parry that he done. I thought he could have just either put that behind or caught it, but totally agree with everything you said. Apart from that, I'm not rating that goalkeeper, but I do know that he does get a good write-up, so maybe I'm in the minority.
He's out of contract in the summer as well. He's not renewing, so.
I'm actually sick of seeing him, because Scotland have played Israel about 18 times in the last 12 months. I don't know, maybe that's part of the reason why we think he's good. Maybe it's just familiarity.
You can save shots against Christie and McGregor. Must be a great goalkeeper.
So, moving on, Hibs had another goal chopped off. That fucking idiot Porteous. It was a foul on Golson, I think, Graeme. And what's your thoughts on this? Was that a foul?
It was a foul on Hollander.
Hollander, was it?
Yeah, I thought it was a push, yeah. I know there was a bit of controversy about it, and I think Jack Ross. I was getting mixed up. I think Jack Ross was complaining about it, but I don't see what he had to complain about, to be honest. I thought there was a definite push on Hollander. A wee bit of concern though that he's able to be pushed. He was sent, he was sent tumbling, but just a wee tiny push. So a wee bit of concern there, but
maybe playing it up to get the foul.
Maybe he just realised that he wasn't going to get to it. He had been pushed, so he had to get in just to sell the decision. But I don't get where the controversy was coming from. I get that I'm biased, but taking the blue tinted specs off, I still thought there was a push in Hollander and it was right to be chopped off.
No, I thought it was a fair decision as well. And if MD was going to get a goal disallowed, I'm glad it was that prick. I've really no time for him. And I've said this before, my big thing about Ryan Porteous is I think he has a lot in his locker to become a really good player, but he's just so hell-bent in being a fucking Ned and playing up to the galleries, and that's what to stop him, so get up him. For the Hibs goal, Scott, as we mentioned, Bonner's a bit suspect there, and I don't really know if there's too much, after Bonner giving the ball away, I think Hibs really crowded that left-back area. Do you think we maybe needed to get more support over to Barisic chair or press more, or do you think the centre-half should have done a bit better with Nisbet's movement?
There's always when you look back, things that you could have done better. Barisic a bit suspect, and maybe the centre-halves as well, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. Was Aribo playing in the left of the midfield three, or was it Kamara?
I think it was Kamara.
And he's usually good at help, covering and things like that. So just a note, as I said, I've nothing to be concerned about. He's had a great season, Barisic, and I would never criticise him for having one off day. So they'll learn, and as long as it doesn't happen next week, I'm happy days, man.
Plenty of time. There's plenty of time to deal with that, though. I know Barisic maybe gave the throw-in away. He managed to rescue a throw-in, and then he went off the pitch, and he looked as if he maybe strained something, so he was a bit slow in getting to his feet. But we still had time to stop that cross getting in. And I think Goldson should have been closer. Hadji could have been a bit closer to actually stop the cross getting in. He's done a sort of half-hearted leg out to try and stop the cross. So I don't think we can all put it on Barisic, although he did sort of give the throw-in away, bit of loss of control there. But I think you've got to question Goldson there. I really do. I think now it's a great run. The amount of, great cross and a great run, because the way the strikers ran towards the front post, he's got a head start on Goldson. But I think Goldson could have read that a bit better and been a bit closer. He might not have won the header, but he might have been close enough just to put a wee bit of doubt in the striker's mind, or maybe he can get a wee deflection on it or something. As soon as the ball goes in the net, Goldson's screaming and shouting at somebody. I'm guessing it's Hadji for not stopping the cross, but I thought he could have done a bit better himself before he starts shouting and bawling. But I know that's his job to corral the defence.
Aye, and we've all been there when we fucked up on the pitch and you're like, oh Christ, I just need to shout at somebody to take the pressure off of me.
You most weeks, Colin.
Aye, it used to be me on the post, defending. Ball still goes in above my head, and I'll shout at him. They shout at the keeper. So 2-1. Rangers definitely the better. For the 45 minutes I've seen Rangers the better team all in all. I had no complaints with that. And it's back to 20 points. For maybe a day or so, the 10 was back on after they've had one decent game, but not. Still 20 points in. So Rangers' next game is against Celtic in the Scottish Cup. It was announced today that it'll actually be played at 3 o'clock on the Sunday due to the funeral for Prince Philip on Saturday afternoon. I'm glad that news came before we done the podcast. It was very, very typical that we'll release something, then something happens, and then we just look like idiots. We'll tend to speculate about what we think it'll be, then the news will come out and it's fucking nowhere near. Graeme, as I mentioned there's a lot of chat that this is a revived Celtic team after one decent result. I hate feeling like this, but because I always think I might be setting myself up for a fall, but I'm confident for Sunday. I'm confident Rangers are the favourites. Yeah,
nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing to fear. We play our game, we win, no problem at all. Nothing to worry about. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't said that for a while. Well, I've not said that in the last few years. I have been saying it this season that I'm looking forward to it. But looking forward to the game. Nothing to say that they're going to challenge us. I don't see what big performances they're getting. I know they scored a few against Livy, but they've been pushed for the last 2 or 3 months now since the cup final. Basically, they've been rotten. Nothing to fear for them at all.
Again, I think the back five will pick itself for Sunday. Now that the big conspiracy that we've paid off SFA to push back the hearing for Patterson, so he'll be in there, and we've given him a funny handshake. But that's just part and parcel of being a Rangers fan, isn't it? You can get away with murder. So back five picks itself. Graeme, I think Kamara and Davis will definitely be starting. The question is who goes in alongside them in midfield. Do you think you'll be Aribo or maybe Arfield coming back in?
I would go Aribo. Yeah, I don't think Arfield's been quite at it, so maybe still trying to get himself back to fitness. I would play Aribo in the midfield. I think that would be a winning formula to combat their midfield. I think they would be all over them and easily dominate the midfield, which is where the game should be played and win that battle. get the possession, and then we'll be streets ahead of him, I think. So yeah, Aribo for me.
Any arguments with that, Scott? That midfield three?
No, I think it's what I would expect to see as well. Obviously, I'd like to have Jack available. I think that's his type of game. If we had an half-field firing in all cylinders, I think he would be in there, maybe, and maybe push Aribo up a wee bit up the pitch. But it's a bit of a worry for Arthur. I think you mentioned it as well, where he seems to need to maybe get 8-9 games under his belt, and then he really starts to show some form. He doesn't just hit the ground running. So still a great option to have off the bench, but I think it will be that midfield three.
I seen somebody tweet today about Ryan Jack, actually. It's worrying that the amount of games he's missed over the last 2 or 3 years for different injuries. So also you want Ryan Jack as an option. He's a cracking player, and he's so much more rounded, a much more rounded player than when we got him, and he had so much both defensively and offensively. Easy for me to say, but is it a worry that we've potentially got to have Jack, who will be on and off with injury next year? Our field does take 8-9 games to get going. Is it somewhere we need to seriously consider strengthening next year?
Well, assume Zungu's going away next year. We'll get Davis, who will be 36, will he be next year? So as somewhere we need to look. Jack misses a lot of football. It's good. If we get 25-30 games in a season out of him, that'd probably be really good for him, to be completely honest. So do we just need to appreciate it when he's in the team? Just do we need to manage him better? I think we have tried all that, and I do think I would like to see us not lose Ferguson, not him, but I would like to see
Ross McCrory. Please say Ross McCrory. It's been a good 5-6 months since I've spoken about him. I miss him every day.
Well, we need that midfielder that's going to come in and fit our system effectively, and I can't see Lewis Ferguson fitting in there. So no, I think we do need to look at that, especially if Soon goes away, and all these injury problems.
Is it not the time to start bringing in the youth then? We've got these guys that are out on loan. Kai Kennedy, is it no time that he starts to get blooded in? If you're saying Jack's going to be 25-30, do we give the other 20 games a season to Kai Kennedy? Is that not what the squad's for? These are the guys that should be starting to coming through. Otherwise, what's the point in having them other than sticking them out on loan? The whole point of them being out there, Stephen Kelly's another one. Get these guys some playing time now. They've had their loans. They've had their couple of seasons out on loan, different clubs. Time to start bleeding these guys in. If it's good enough for Patterson, who's making an impression, these guys probably are ready to step up, and they've got enough experienced midfielders round about them, that we can bring them in and start to blood them.
I totally agree. I think with the likes of Arfield, Davis and Jack, Jack's a bit different. He's not aging like Davis and Arfield, but I think we've got enough of them alongside Kamara and Aribo, assuming that maybe one will go realistically, but I don't think both will go out of Kamara and Aribo. So I think that's a good enough nucleus to bring in a Stephen Kelly. Maybe we've got this boy, the Man Mountain, coming up for Bournemouth. That's another one coming in, but absolutely, the likes of Stephen Kelly or somebody. I think Stephen Kelly's been a cracking player the last couple of years. Probably more so at United, but he's got a bit of the Hadji about him. He demands the ball all the time. He's very, even though he's very slight in frame, he's a game fucker. He really is. He doesn't get put off easily. I'd like to see him in and about the squad. Graeme, you mentioned about the loans there, and I'm kind of going off in tangents here, but just what was on my head. There's been a lot of chat the last couple of weeks about what happens with Patterson now. That Tavernier's extended his contract. I thought it was pretty obvious that we just keep him as the number 2 right back, but a lot of people want him to go out on loan. I don't really understand that.
No, I don't understand that. I can see the argument for it, but I wouldn't agree with it. Yeah, he's developed fine. He's going to, I would say, yeah, keep him there as backup number 2. the problem you do have is that if Tav's fit, he plays, and he plays 90 minutes. So he's not going to get any minutes. But he would be learning quite a bit and training every day for Tav. That's how he's been able to come in and hit the ground running, is because he has been playing alongside him in training, or he's been maybe, if they're doing 11v11, they're doing opposites, So I can see the argument, but no, I would keep him at Rangers and let him develop there as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that as well. I think he's at the age where he doesn't desperately need minutes, if that makes sense. It's maybe if he was 22, 23, it's the stage where he really has to be playing regular football, but he's only 19, so no, I think keep him in, and then we've got the best two right backs in the country. It's a decent problem to have. Back to the Celtic game, sorry, my mind going wanders there. Scott, similar to the midfield three, two out of the three forward options are picked. Kenny Morelos will start on Sunday, barring injury or like Morelos gone mental or whatever. Who starts alongside him on the right hand side?
I think it's got to be Roof. I think it's, you just need. It's a bit like Jack. Like you need to almost put him in bubble wrap sometime, because he is quite injury prone. But I think when he's playing with a much stronger outfit, so I think it has to be Roof for me. I think he's obviously not scored against Celtic, so it'd be nice to put an end to that. And so I would go for him.
Is there any arguments at all for Hadji, Graeme? Or is it Roof?
No, I would go with Hadji myself. I don't think I'd be playing Roof. I would put in Hadji for his... it's a toss-up on it. That's why we're blessed. We can have Morelos and Kent. I totally agree that they're the stick-ons, and then you've got the choice between three. You've got Roof, you get Hadji, and you've got Lizzie Arnott, who's banging him in for the women's teams. I'd even promote her. No, for me it's Hadji. I would be playing Hadji at the weekend. He's the one that can maybe open them up a wee bit once we've started to. I'm picturing it in my mind. I'm starting to see Rangers dominate the midfield, gaining the possession, and then it's going to be, how do we get it forward to these front three? I think Roof is more of a sort of physicality. I think maybe that's what you would want up against them, and if that's that's your game plan, then you'd want Roof. But if you're trying to pick holes in their defence, I would rather have Kent Hadji trying to feed in Morelos through the middle.
I feel like in theory Hadji is the one that should start against Celtic, with just what Graeme was saying there about picking holes in the defence when we are dictating the play. But where I think Hadji struggled, Scott, is these games can be very kick and rush. They can be 100 mile an hour, and I think he really struggles to get it going when it's that almost scattergun approach in a game. I think that's the only thing that kind of lets him down. He's not quite got used to it yet.
Hadji. Don't know. Well, the past field firms haven't been 100 mile an hour, that's for sure, man. It's been quite, slow by all standards.
But I think Hadji is kind of no went missing. That's the wrong term to say, but he's not got involved as much as he could have. I don't know if that's just maybe the kind of, I don't know, the nature of the game, or it's I don't know what it is.
I see what you're trying to say. I think I've been harsh to Hadji, to be honest. I think he gets stand-up and counted a lot of time. I mean, you just look back to Braga, in that game, he took it upon himself and got 2 goals, and he was excellent. So I think with his personality, if that's what you're referring to, like maybe going missing during games and things like that.
No, I don't think it's going missing. I for want of time, I just feel like the last couple of Old Firms, he's not got the output that he wants. I don't think it's for want of trying, and I don't think he's shying away, but I don't know, I just don't think he's played his own game.
Mm-hmm. He's been put off. Well, we'll see. I thought the game at Ibrox, he came on at half time, didn't he, for Roof, and he changed it. I thought he played absolutely brilliant that day.
I'm so shit then.
What about Wright? Any chance of Wright getting a start too soon?
it's a bit of an enigma, because it seems like the longer we keep on asking when will we get a start in the league, the longer he goes without one. I don't know if we're jinxing him, but I wanted to see him in yesterday. I really thought that was the right game for him yesterday. I'd love to see him against Celtic, but I don't think Gerrard gives him his first start in the league against his first start against a top flight side against Celtic.
Yeah, I would like to see it myself, but yeah, it probably is a bit early. I think the reason he didn't play yesterday is that we are playing our best team. We're just we must win every single game, and that's the approach that we're taking. I just know that he likes it. Well, he has done in the past, likes to throw in a few odd decisions or odd starting positions. It was just a thought. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be starting myself, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him just getting thrown in there, because it's a guy that would have absolutely no fear and he would just run at them constantly. Would be all over it. But I know it's a risk. When you've never played in a game like that. Your psyche might be a wee bit off and you might be too fired up for it, whereas all these other players have already played in the game and know the format of the game.
I think having Wright running at that wee lassie, the left back, might be, I don't know, because he didn't play well the last game. I don't think you can say that, but he was allowed a bit more freedom to kind of get forward. And I don't think
he'll play. I think they're going to go with the other boy. Is it Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor's the left back, isn't it?
Him, the boy that they got for Kilmarnock.
Aye, I think they'll play him. I think the wee Laxalt guy will be bummed out. I think it'll be Taylor that we'll need to be playing up against.
Well, fair dues. The hairdresser just opened back up, so he's probably got an appointment and he doesn't want to shift it. But no, it's interesting to see who'll start. Well, that will bring us to a close for this week. But before we let you go, as always, we'll finish up with a Twitter patter of the week. So mine's isn't. I did see it on Twitter, but it was a snippet for the Daily Record, I'm sure, and it just made me laugh. Kennedy cites their recent 1-1 draw with Rangers and a 1-0 loss at Ibrox in January as reason to believe they have the better players. I think that just really sums up what's going on over there. Fucking love that. Graeme, what do you have for this?
I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter the other day, but Alan Thompson, he's had a wee bit of a meltdown on Twitter. He's been going way back to He's going way back, I don't know, 16 years when Lovenkrands went down holding his face, and he's just not letting it slide. He just will not let it slide. You wonder about these guys, they just must play on their minds. Sutton's the same. It must have just left an imprint on them that they'll never be able to shift. But he went off in one, and somebody had responded to him to say, "Has Chris Sutton's wee lassie got your phone, Alan?"
No, I seen that as well, and I seen another response. Somebody posted a screenshot of his interview about that game, and he said Martin O'Neill was right to call me a coward for getting sent off that game. Scott, what have you got for us?
Mine's just junior MyGers drawings of Steven Gerrard, and this is the man that stopped the 10. It was like the worst drawing ever.
You're not going to criticise a kid's drawing, are you?
You need to learn. So I enjoyed that. The images yesterday.
That's a good thing they did for that, isn't it?
Aye.
I think it's brilliant that they let them do that and just take care of the Twitter for that and let the Wednesday. That's a nice wee thing to do, because you used to write into the Rangers news and you would see wee drawings like that and gets the kids involved. I think that was quite cool. The fact that it goes all around the world, it gets quite enjoyed seeing that.
It was
even if Scott's not happy with the standard of drawing, at least maybe next year they can get better.
Patterson's was a cracker actually, but it was, I'm sure,
Nathan Patterson drew one and sent it in.
He probably just drew himself, but
he's probably just under the threshold, isn't he? But How many like adults do you think have drew one and sent it in hidden on their phones? I know what I'm up to next weekend.
Graeme's quiet there.
Well, on that note, all that's left to do is thank my two guests for joining me. First of all, Graeme Curry.
Cheers, boys. Champions.
And Scott Hodge.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks very much for listening and take care.